Hey everybody, Whitney and McFly here, and today we are finally getting back to the 15-room dollhouse. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have been diligently working on this 15-room dollhouse. Each room is based on one of my favorite movies or television shows. This new room is going to be in the attic, and it will be based on Doc's 1950s garage. If you're concerned about the room being in the attic, well, as you know, the DeLorean doesn't need driveways or roads. So what time is it? We better get started.
What I'd like to do in this series is really focus on smaller elements of the entire room that we can make, and then in the end, we'll bring it all together in one episode or something. So today, I am going to create the ping pong table that we see in Doc Brown's garage, where he tells Marty his plan on how he's going to get him back to the future. Now, what I loved about the ping pong table is it had a miniature version of the downtown area where they live, and I always wanted to recreate it, so that's what we're going to do today. But first, what I'm going to do is show you how to create a regular ping pong table, so that way if you are working on a rec room or a bar scene or a garage or something along those lines, you could do this. And then I'm going to take it the next step and make it a Back to the Future ping pong table. So let's go ahead and start by building that table. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to cut out a piece of thin cardboard. This is actually one of the flaps to a presentation board that I bought at the 99-cent store. So a standard ping pong table is 5 feet by 9 feet. So of course, doing a 12 scale, I'm going to create a 5-inch by 9-inch ping pong table. Then I went back and forth with how I was going to create a green top on this. So what I've done is I went to the store and I looked at some different materials, and I found this very thin foam. And luckily they had it in this really great ping pong colored green. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to the same size as my cardboard. And then to eliminate any concerns or issues with warping, even with using weights, I'm going to take some permanent double-sided tape and use that to hold the foam to the cardboard. I just make sure that the double-sided tape is right along the edge so you don't get any peel up. And the other thing you need to make sure to do is try your best not to touch it, because the oils in your hands will keep it from sticking, and over time it will begin to peel up. So that's how I pressed those two together. And then that gave me just this very clean, straight lined look. Now for the ping pong lines on the top, I kind of went back and forth on what I wanted to do. Initially, I thought that I could just hand paint it on. I bought a paint pen and I thought this could work. It's too transparent. I'm taking the chance of having a squiggly line or messing up or having one part thicker than the other. So then finally I was like, you know what? Sticker. Let's do sticker. So I bought this 1/16 inch graphic tape. I don't know why I didn't think of this first, to be honest, but here it is. It was the last thought, but the best one of the choices. And so I'm just going to go ahead and tape down this great 1/16 graphic tape. And, basically, again, same rule applies. Try not to touch the bottom of it with your hand so that it sticks really well. The point is you want it to stick really well and you don't want it to peel up. So on a ping pong table, of course, you have the lines all the way around. You have a middle one, and then you have an additional one going down the center that divides the board in half. Now with my X-Acto knife, I just cleaned up the edges, and then there's our board, at least the top part. The base I am using balsa wood strips. I don't recommend that. It's what I had on hand, but I would use basswood strips because it's just more sturdy, but it's still inexpensive and you can easily clip it with your miter shears. Again, so just keep in mind I'm using balsa, but I don't recommend it. I'm going to trim out all of the edges here to make my base. I'm just doing a big rectangle. I am going to be staining these all with a darker stain. I might doing a cherry stain on it. And I will do 4 legs. And I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just making them stick legs. I was looking up ones from the 50s and they were very standard looking. There wasn't really anything too fancy about them. So I've done the legs. I'm doing interior brackets for stability. I am also doing an additional stability bar between the 2 legs to keep them in place. And then I will do an additional stability bar in the center at the top for the middle of the board. Not that we're doing a lot of heavy weight on this, but might as well do that since I have the wood available. And then I'm using my ultimate white glue to glue it all down. At this point, I would really be ready to start building the mini town on top of this board for the Back to the Future scene. But for those of you who are not going to be building a Back to the Future scene, which I'm guessing many of you aren't, I do want to go ahead and show you how to create a really cool net so that you could do it if you wanted to create your own rec room or something like that. I also cut some trim down to put on the sides of the ping pong table just to conceal the cardboard edges. I work in senior living, for those of you who don't know. I have a maintenance team that helps keep the senior living apartments in good condition. They happened to be working on replacing some screen. So this is a piece of a screen remnant here. However, if you don't have a maintenance team, you can get screen remnants at the Home Depot or Lowe's, and they don't cost very much. But my favorite price is free. And so this was free and I love it, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to measure out the screen, and then I'm using some of my trim pieces left over, and I'm going to glue a little bit of the screen to the interior of some trim and staining those little pieces of trim to match the legs. And then you can see here, there's the little net in between. Because I'm going to be removing it, I just used a little mini hold to put it in place for this shot so you can see. But if I wasn't going to remove it, I would permanently glue it down with my ultimate white glue. Now, as far as making paddle and a ball, you could do it out of thin cardboard, just create that. You could do it out of polymer clay and just have a set there. Make a little ball out of air dry clay, polymer clay, whatever you want to use. You could use a bead, and then that you'd have a complete ping pong set. But guess what? We're not doing a regular ping pong set, are we? No, we are doing the Back to the Future table. I have a surprise for you because I have purchased some dolls for this set, and these are pre-made manufactured dolls by NECA, and they have a Doc Brown. Now this one, because I take my dolls out of the package, I will sometimes buy them already removed. So in this case, I found a Doc Brown. Now Doc Brown is tall. This doll is 7 inches, but Christopher Lloyd is a tall guy who plays Doc Brown, and I love this doll so much. He's got the bandages on his head from where he hits his head on the toilet, where he first thinks of the flux capacitor. So a really fun detail they have on him is the ripped pants, where he rips his pants while he's hanging from the clock tower. I love it so much. Now, the other thing that NECA does with their dolls is they give you additional accessories. There is a different head that I can put on this doll, and then it also comes with hands that don't have gloves on them. And it also comes with his inventor goggles as well that I can put on him. So that's pretty cool. Now, for Marty, I bought the actual Back to the Future doll. I did buy it in package. I couldn't find it used. I'm sorry that my ring light is just bouncing off that plastic. That's a little better, but not really. Let me take him out of the box so we can see him. Now, Marty is pretty fab as well. He has the blue jeans. He's got obviously the Nikes, which I wish I had, and his red puff vest, jean jacket. The doll also came with his guitar, his skateboard, his amazing backpack with great detail, a camcorder, and some of these accessories I might be using in the scene, so we'll see. Certainly the camcorder I will be later on. Okay, so those are the two dolls. I know that in other series I showed them at the end of the series, but I really loved them so much that I want to use them throughout, so I wanted to share with you those dolls early. We've obviously missed a tournament between the two McFlys, and it looks like Tiny Whitney won, but feels like she'd have the advantage, with her being able to move her arms by herself and all. Now moving on to building the town on top of the ping pong table. I've removed the net. The first thing I'm going to do is start off by using some cardstock to create the outline of the town itself. I need something to glue the little buildings down, but I also want it to be removable. I don't know why. I'm not going to be removing it, but one never knows. Maybe I build a better ping pong table in the future or something. So in the movie, Doc starts off by saying,
"Now, let me show you my plan for sending you home. Please excuse the crudity of this model. I didn't have time to build it to scale or to paint it."
Oh, that part always makes me laugh. And so you can tell that he has used just stuff around the garage. Old boxes, cans, storage bins, things like that. And that's how he's made this town. But I'm not going to do individual pieces. I am going to make it look like I did, but I'm not. So I'm starting by using this inexpensive foam board this is a remnant, but I originally purchased it from the dollar store. And I'm going to draw out a town, basically, a silhouette of a town that maybe was made out of boxes. And I'm just going to base it on what I can see in the movie. And so you can see there, my little town. that I've drawn out. And then I'm going to do that for the other sides as well, including the clock tower building. Now, once I have those pieces all in place and I like the way the fronts look, I'm going to trace all of them out again, and I'm going to create a matching back for them. And then I'll fill in the gap by just using another piece of foam so that they're about 1/2 inch thick. You can kind of see there that the town is starting to be created, and you can see that they don't have any roofs. So the way I'm going to make the roof is I'm going back to my cardstock, and I'm just going to create little roofs that go on all of these. And that will give me the opportunity to also make them look maybe like box tops, add some detail to them, and then with additional small pieces of cardstock, make them look like little windows, doors, awnings, and add a little bit more detail to the front, just like you see that Doc did on his own little town. Now the clock tower area and all the grounds in front of it, I really do want to focus on that area and give it a little bit more details by creating the very distinctive columns and a couple other little elements in the front area there. You can see in the actual real version of it, in Doc's version, he's used stuff from around the garage. So he's got what looks like beer bottles, a Coke bottle, maybe a milk bottle, salt and pepper shakers, and those are what he's used to create the landmarks that are sitting in front of clock tower, including what I suspect is paper towel rolls for the towers. So I'm going to just jump on over to my food stash here. I've got all of these different beverages in these 2 containers. And I'm going to dump them out, and I'm just going to search out some pieces that I think I could use. So in this case, I do have some Coke bottles. I've got Pepsi plastic bottle here. It looks actually more like sriracha, which I love. Who's a fan of sriracha out there? Okay, let me know in the comments. And I'm just going to keep picking out little pieces that I think could use. Maybe this bottle would work, and I'm going to need to paint all of these things white. So here's about basically where they're sitting in the actual Doc Brown version. He actually has a few more items, and I think that what I'll do to create some of those is just use some white polymer clay to give me the other elements that I think are really necessary to make this look similar to what we see in the movie. All right, and then here is basically me painting the white bottles. And then here are all the different little pieces that I've decided would work for the front of the clock tower building. You can see I've got the columns. I've created a couple of light posts. I have the little round balls. Those are supposed to be salt and pepper shakers. I've got some fencing and stuff there as well. Of course, I'll let those cool down, and then I let the paint dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and add everything to the front of the clock tower. And there you go. There it is. I'm stoked about it. Very happy about how it's turning out. It really does have the same appearance as the one we see in the movies. Very exciting. Okay, and now, of course, now that that's completed, there is something that I definitely need, and that is the little red convertible that Doc uses as the sample DeLorean. So I've basically just made a tiny little polymer clay car. I tried to do it as best as I could. I'm no sculptor, oh my god. Anyway, so it's basically a little red bean. I hollowed out the center and I painted it white, so it'd be like the interior of the white car. I added a little piece of trash plastic to the front of it for the windshield, and then I added a staple to the back as the connector piece that we see in the movie. And that's my little car. So now the only other thing that we really need to add that makes it incredibly fun and special as a Back to the Future piece is I need the string, or in the faux electrical wire, that would be going from the top of the clock tower wrapped around both street lights. So I'm going to use these tiny little nails right here. These are circuit nails for electrical, but they also make perfect little nails for this type of thing. And a piece of string. This is a dark brown string, and I'm just going to add that and glue that down, and then there you go. And for the watch, I just basically painted a small silver circle to indicate where the clock would be. Doc uses a watch for that, and I had hoped that I could remove the watch that came on the doll, and I was going to use that, but I can't, so I just used a little bit of paint, and there you go. There it is. So from there, what I like to do is just show you the actual room. I often start off by doing that, but I thought we'd do it at the end of this video this time. So here is the room, and you can see it is in quite disarray. It has some old wallpaper and everything. I will begin to reconstruct this space. Now, you can see the way that it's got this angled wall over here that I will only be able to do half of the garage. So the area where I'm going to do is where the ping pong table is, obviously. The DeLorean sits in this area here. And then there's a lot of fun details along the garage wall. And of course, we've got the back door area, the garage door itself, and then a whole bunch of fun stuff along this side that I'm going to incorporate as well. So we'll be making a lot more fun accessories for this space. And then, like I said, I will bring everything together and hopefully you will love it. I will love it and it will be amazing. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. As always, please leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Did you love the movie? Are you a big fan? How many times have you seen it? Do you geek out on it? In the background of the videos, I do have a ton of memorabilia from the movie. If you like for me to highlight some of those fun pieces that I have, let me know in the comments as well. I know that they're not all miniatures. Some of them are, but they're not all miniatures. So if you want me to highlight those things, let me know in the comments too. And then I can do that at the end of the videos coming up. Always great to have you. Love hanging out. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you're having fun. Now get back to your own miniatures and I'll see you next time. Bye.